It's been 5 months since the world lost Jessie Lee Ward, the 34-year-old self-proclaimed #1 network marketer in the entire world to stage 4 colon cancer. And it's been less than a year since anyone knew anything of her diagnosis. It was a fast-moving journey where so many of us saw her get diagnosed, refused to go along with her doctor's recommendations at MD Anderson, tried to cure herself with juicing and coffee enemas, and losing her battle all within the span of about 8 to 9 months. The world lost Jessie Lee Ward on September 16th, 2023, which falls exactly within the prognosis given to her by multiple oncologists. One told her that she would pass before October, another told her she wouldn't see Christmas. They were both right. This is not a video about Jessie Lee Ward's cancer journey, though. I still feel like it's a little too early for me to make like a video essay about her diagnosis and her treatments and then her death and stuff. Like, I feel like it's still too early. Maybe we can revisit that topic in like 6 months, because I know that's a video that so many of you guys asked me to make basically right after she passed away. And I gotta tell you guys, Jessie Lee Ward's death really messed me up in a way that I was not expecting to happen. And I think most of it is because she was only 2 years older than me. So I kind of went through like this weird downward spiral where I was like panicking about my own mortality. And it was almost like a grief thing. Like, but I didn't know her, so it's not like I was grieving her. It was a really weird mental place to be in, and it messed me up. I'll be totally and completely honest, dude. It was to the point where I was absolutely convinced that I also have stage 4 cancer that I don't know about, you know what I mean? I still have an irrational fear of it 5 months later. Maybe it's not that irrational. I don't know. It just like sparked something within me that threw me for a loop. So that's really why I couldn't talk about this for so long, despite the internet getting mad at me for not talking about it. From a personal standpoint, I just couldn't do it. So while this video isn't about her personally and her diagnosis and her death and her treatments and all those things, because like even right now I still feel like I'm not ready to do a deep dive on all that yet. Something just doesn't feel like it's the right time to do that yet. It feels too soon to pick apart a woman who died of cancer. That's ultimately what's going to wind up happening whenever I do ultimately do a video essay on this, because it was such a roller coaster. There was so much to it that it's hard not to be critical of her. So still feels too soon to me, but you let me know in the comments if you think maybe a few more months might be a tasteful enough time to wait before I do a video essay about it. Instead, today, I find it absolutely necessary that we begin to profile people who exploited Jessie Lee Ward during her cancer battle and her untimely and unfortunate death. Contrary to what the chronically online grifters of Reddit will tell you, we're not talking about your favorite, or I guess in this case, least favorite anti-MLM creator. We're talking about the people that Jessie Lee Ward held closest to her in her life, who were in her inner circle. I started scripting this out to be one huge and all-encompassing video essay about all the people who have exploited her, but I tell you what, it got way too long. So we're breaking this up into parts, people. So this is gonna have to be a series of people who exploited Jessie Lee Ward, and the topic of today's episode, I guess, is Eric Worre. But before we start talking about that, I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Paired. The Paired app is a relationship app designed to deepen your relationship with your partner and bring you guys closer together. Backed by leading experts in research, the Paired app prompts you and your partner with fun, meaningful conversations about things that you might not think to talk about otherwise. You'll be able to answer daily questions, play relationship games, take quizzes, and really get to know each other on a deeper level. The Paired app is for every relationship at every stage. Whether you're newly dating and you're just trying to get to know each other, or if you're like me and my husband who have been together for nearly 17 years. I know, it's incredible. The Paired app will encourage strong communication between the two of you. And strong communication is the key to creating long and happy relationships. Even though I've known my husband for more than half of my life now, we still learn new things about each other all the time. And I like that the Paired app helps us do that. You don't need to be in the same room as each other to complete the games and quizzes. So you can each participate separately in your own busy lives in whatever pockets of time that you have. And I like that you can't see your partner's answers until you answer the questions yourself, because it really reinforces that relationships are a two-way street. And if your partner is dropping the ball a little bit and forgets to complete their end of the daily prompts, the Paired app will send them reminders to finish them. And if they're still not getting it, you can nudge them, give them a little nudge and be like, hey, sweetheart. It's useful because like my husband gets distracted easily. February is the month of love. So instead of getting your partner the same old gift year after year, the same old greeting card, the chocolates, the flowers, the stuffed animals, whatever it is that you guys do, get them a premium subscription to the Paired app instead, or alongside all of those things. Those things are still nice. I mean, Valentine's Day is so commercialized these days, it just doesn't feel genuine, but the Paired app is a way to give your partner a real, thoughtful gift that has real world uses and benefits for both of you in your journey, in your relationship together. And the best part is I can get you hooked up with a sweet discount. Click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off of Paired Premium so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner. Thanks again to Paired for sponsoring this video. I genuinely hope that you try it out and that it helps keep that old flame ablazing. Now let's get into today's topic. I just want to say, for anybody who's new to this channel or maybe hasn't really followed along with this whole story, I have covered this extensively. My friends Aaron Bees, Julie Joe, Say Hello to DC, Echo Echo, aka Tish, Clowntown. Let's be honest, a lot of people have covered this while it was going on. There's a lot of content. I'm gonna have links down below of my personal coverage, along with any other videos that I think might explain the story a little bit more. So if you're unfamiliar with it, I do recommend watching at least some videos about it because it really was a huge story. We're talking like 8 to 9 months of essentially a content farm. Like, there was so much to talk about. There is content for you guys to watch out there if you need more information. All of that's going to be in the description below. And that's including even if you don't know who Eric Worre is. Like, he's his own dumpster fire, which I've covered a little bit on this channel. So I'm just kind of giving you the bare minimum of what you need to know here if you don't know anything about the situation, but just know that there's a lot more out there. Eric Worre, the network marketing expert, coach, and mentor who runs the GoPro series. You've probably seen these network marketing events where they have speakers standing on a stage and there's like a huge screen behind them that has all the faces of all the people who are watching the event on Zoom. Yeah, those take place in Eric Worre's studio in Nevada. Pretty sure he's always like, it's my $20 million studio. Okay, sweet brag. He hosts masterminds, trainings, their annual Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing Conference. I mean, all kinds of MLM-centered events. Eric is basically regarded as a god of the industry. And with Jessie Lee Ward being the self-proclaimed #1 network marketer in the entire world, it only makes sense that she and Eric would be friends. They have had a pretty extensive collaborative history. She has appeared at and has spoken at multiple events hosted by Eric. The biggest reason why Eric Worre is someone that we need to be profiling when talking about people who have exploited Jessie Lee Ward is because ever since Eric learned of Jessie Lee's diagnosis, he has appeared, in my opinion, and the opinion of many, that he's just milking it for all that he can get out of it, mostly by way of social media growth and engagement. First of all, it's important to know that Eric Worre is the means of which the public found out about Jessie Lee Ward's diagnosis. Not from Jessie Lee herself, not from her boyfriend Aviram. He's also a dumpster fire that we're going to profile later, don't worry. We didn't hear about it from her family. No, we all had to get the news from Eric freaking Worre. On February 24th, 2023, he posted this picture of Jessie Lee alongside this caption. To all of my friends around the world, I need your help. My friend, and probably yours, Jessie Lee Ward, is going through a serious issue right now. 2 weeks ago, she got the results from an MRI that looked bad. She got a Grail test that said she might have colon cancer. Last Friday, she had a colonoscopy that confirmed it, and the doctor called this week to tell her the biopsy from the colonoscopy came back saying that she has adenocarcinoma stage 4 colon cancer, and it's growing aggressively. She's having surgery tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. After the surgery, the doctor will know next steps when pathology comes back with results. The reason for this message is to ask all of you, regardless of your particular beliefs, to pray her surgery goes well and she will ultimately be healed. On one side, she's my friend. But in addition, I think of her as a colleague, a great leader, a person with a huge heart, and some sort of close personal relative. I can't decide if I think of her more as a sister or a daughter. Now, this is not the end of the post, but I do want to interject here because it's about to get a little cray-cray. So far, this post isn't exactly offensive. It's odd that we're hearing this super heavy news in this way, but it's not unusual to ask your audience for hashtag tots and pears. But here's where it gets pretty wild. If you'd click the like button if you're willing to say a prayer for her, or at least send her positive vibes, that would be amazing. If you'd comment on some area of your life where she's brought value, that would be even better. If you'd share, that would help us expand this prayer group to a larger group. She's expecting a full recovery, and so am I, but it can only help to come together as an entrepreneurial family. She's being admitted now, and I will send updates as I receive them. Thanks in advance, Eric. Eric, you did not just one like equals one prayer, Jessie Lee Ward. This is someone's cancer we're talking about, Eric. What he has done here is he's asked for likes and comments and shares and whatever kind of engagement that he can get to get his post on his business page on Facebook more attention under the guise of, we need to make this prayer circle bigger, guys, you know, for Jessie Lee. It's pretty horrendous to use your friend's terminal diagnosis for the sole purpose of creating engagement on social media. Eric Worre really said, let's see, how can I benefit from this? Not only did Eric Worre create content because of and from her diagnosis, he inserted himself into her death as well. First, it started off with this post on September 14th that just said hashtag pray. People began questioning Eric again, wondering why we were getting cryptic updates about Jessie Lee's health from him. Soon after, he started showing us these videos of him climbing onto his private jet to let us know that he's going to Texas to see a friend. Everyone knew it was regarding Jessie. He confirmed this on his trip back home.
Just leaving Dallas, Marina and I went and saw Jessie Lee to give everybody a quick update. Today was better than yesterday. Yesterday was a little scary. She's fighting very, very hard and needs your prayers. So she's an amazing human, and we're all blessed to know her. Okay, so keep your prayers going. And for everybody that's had Jessie Lee in their prayers, Marina and I both gave her a big, huge hug on behalf of all of you.
Again, it seems like Eric Worre was the only person feeding us updates during this time, which is odd given that he's not her best friend or her boyfriend or her family. He's Eric Worre. Why is he the one telling us everything? Maybe it's fair to assume that perhaps Eric got permission to share posts like these, or maybe he didn't, because why would he need to? He's Eric Worre. He can do whatever he wants. That's speculation, of course, but it would have made sense for almost anyone else to be giving us these updates, not Eric. He also made a tribute video after she passed, which was kind of nice, but also almost seemed like an ad for GoPro, because the first clip he included of her speaking was her talking about how awesome recruiting is.
Hello everybody, what's going on? It's Jessie Lee. You can call me hashtag Bossly, and I'm excited to be with you here today. I love recruiting because you get to actively watch people that you start to care about and build relationships with change their entire world.
If you didn't know that this was a tribute video for someone who died, I honestly think people would use this video to be like, oh, I want to be involved in training like this. He also posted it about 24 hours after her passing, and it's a heavily edited video. There's a lot of clips inserted from different places, and I can tell you from someone who edits her own content, sourcing clips is kind of the most time-consuming part of editing videos. So unless someone on Eric Worre's team stayed up all night drinking 14 cups of coffee to try to stay awake to get this done in 24 hours, I feel like he had this video prepared, knowing that her time was coming to an end. You know, I could totally be wrong about this, but I mean, that video, even though it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long, it's a lot of work for someone to get done in 24 hours. Even a very experienced video editor, it's a lot of work. You know what though? That's not even the grossest thing that he posted in the days following her death. I would argue that This post is the nastiest thing he could have posted in this circumstance. The post that I'm about to show you was posted 2 days after Jessie Lee Ward died. So he posted a picture of himself alongside Jessie Lee and his wife, and the caption read, 7 years ago, Jessie Lee Ward was virtually unknown in the network marketing world. Think of that as you plan your next 7 years. Oh my God, Eric, are you really using the death of your friend to promote your network marketing BS? This is the most tasteless post I think anybody made. And there have been a lot of tasteless posts made in the wake of Jessie Lee Ward's death. This one, to me, takes the cake. If you're watching this video, you were probably also critical of Jessie Lee Ward in the way she made money, the way she handled her cancer diagnosis, all those things. And I'm still mad about this on behalf of Jessie. I'm like, how dare you? And then the top comment on this post says, you gave her the best gift. You saw something in her and nurtured her growth. Hashtag forever an angel. Okay, yes, yeah, let's just praise Eric Worre for creating Jessie Lee Ward. What a hero. And also, it kind of goes against the point of this post in the first place, because they're suggesting that Eric is the reason why any of us know who Jessie Lee Ward is. Eric was trying to be like, you might be unknown now, but Jessie Lee was too at one point, and if she can do it, anyone can do it. But now his supporters are like, great job creating her legacy, Eric. Mind-blowing. Yikes, honestly. One commenter who doesn't seem to have any social awareness at all had this to say, by God grace, I will be known in this business. Oh my God, that is selfish, ma'am. Although I guess maybe you could say it's Eric's fault for framing the post in the way that he did. One last comment that I'll highlight had this to say, so glad I found you on social media and said yes to GoPro and learned about Jessie Lee during that time. She was incredible and I love how you helped change her mind to do more, to show up for more. She's changed so many people for the greater good. I think we get it now, right? Eric Worre was out here making Jessie Lee's death about him, inserting himself into the death of someone he said was a friend for social media engagement. He used it to try to grow his brand. And then that same day, he made a 17-minute long video talking about his final visit with Jessie Lee and how he found out about her passing as he desperately tries to squeeze just one little tear out of either of his eyes. Any eye will work. Just squeeze out a tear, Eric. You can do it.
To be honest, I'm still not coping well with the entire situation. And the reasoning behind that, I guess, is never really lost somebody that was not kind of expected to be lost. And certainly not someone younger than one of my children. But Jessie Lee was a pretty special human being for a lot of reasons. And I wanted to talk with all of you today when I felt like I could kind of hold myself together. Jessie Lee's an example of the best of our profession. She's also the example of how much a person can contribute in even a brief time. In this case, far too short a time. I think you measure a life by 3 things. 1, the number of experiences that you have. 2, the intensity of those experiences. And 3, the number of lives that you touch, the number of people that you contribute to. And by that measure, Jessie Lee lived many, 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 many lifetimes in her brief season on this earth in a bodily form. I never worked with someone that was able to take input or feedback, coaching or guidance, and immediately implement it and improve on it like she did. Never, ever. As a teacher, there's nothing more gratifying than seeing somebody that you were a little piece of their story, a little catalyst to help them take it and run. I got a message in midweek that says, I'm working on some things. I got to deal with some stuff. It's kind of annoying. And then I got another message from Jessie Lee on Thursday. Doctor's saying I don't have much time. I was doing a Zoom call on Thursday, and I had a house full of people. Lisa Nichols was doing an event here. Doing a Zoom call on Thursday and got a phone call from a dear friend who said, I think you need to get here. And broke down for the first time of many. Had to stop the Zoom call. And even though we had a full house, Lisa Nichols was great. Marina and I got on an airplane on Friday morning and we flew to Texas to see her. And to say it was hard is a complete understatement. You know, when we talked on Friday, there was not an ounce of quit. She's like, I've got to get strong enough so I can get out here and continue treatment. I've got stuff I got to do. But I knew I was saying goodbye, and Marina did too. I told her that regardless of how much time that she or any of us have on this earth, you really measure it by the contribution in the lives you're able to contribute to in some way. And that regardless of treatment, regardless of results, and regardless of how much time was left, that she was going to live for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years because she poured into people like you. Makes me think about how much time all of us have and what we should be doing with it. And should we be casual, or should we be determined to leave a bigger footprint? If your time comes out of the blue, what's going to be the legacy? How's it going to be measured? It won't be in dollars, but it'll be in people and lives touched.
He also lets us know that he had a speaking engagement to go to, and he decided not to cancel his appearance because that's not what Jessie Lee would have wanted.
So we flew back Friday night, worried. And I had some filming to do in our studio, and I had a convention I was speaking at yesterday, on Saturday afternoon here in Las Vegas, like 3,000 people, 3,000 people that had been booked a long time ago. And I had 40 people in my house with this Lisa Nichols event. So I went and filmed what I needed to film Friday morning. And as I'm getting out, and I got basically a half an hour before I'm going to go speak at this conference, Marina pulls up. I'm like, what are you doing here? You should be with Lisa Nichols. She said, I'm going to go with you. I said, okay, we can drive separate. She said, no, let's drive together. So we get in the car, and I see the look on her face. And I'm like, no. Wow. So I kind of didn't know what to do. For a moment, I'm like, I have to cancel. I can't speak to this group. I'm not going to be able to hold it together. And that lasted about 10 seconds, and I'll tell you why. What went through my mind is if Jessie Lee was sitting in the car with me, which I believe she was, she would say, get your ass down there. There's another me in that room. There's somebody that can find another me. You have a calling, you have a mission, you have a purpose. Do your purpose. You want to honor me? Go do your purpose. There'll be time for mourning and reflection and sadness and loss and grief. Now's not the time. So I got to tell you, it was one of the hardest things. I've done it a long time. Was to go train for 3 hours and pour myself, a little piece of myself, into that room. But I did. And afterwards, I came back to a house filled with people. And I had to take some time. In that moment, condolences, it's a very weird thing. I was not happy to receive them. I didn't want to hear it, honestly. So, took some time. But eventually, came back out and said hello and gave some people some hugs and went into Sunday.
In my opinion, if someone that I cared about as deeply as Eric Worre claims to care about Jessie Lee Ward, I would be inconsolable. I would be reduced to a sobbing, snotty, nasty pile of skin and bones, and you would not be able to get me out of bed. I would cease to exist to the world for multiple days. Maybe I'm just dramatic, and I am. But I sure as hell would not be able to then go on a stage and speak about network marketing to a room full of thousands of people knowing the news that I had just found out, and then just act like nothing is wrong, and then return to my home where I've invited a bunch of other people over for another event. I'm not saying that Eric didn't care about Jessie Lee, but I think more so what I'm suggesting is that this industry is so toxic. I mean, we talk about it all the time. They always claim to have financial freedom and time freedom to be able to take time off whenever things like this happen. If they need to be there for their loved ones during tough times, they can do it. Meanwhile, Eric Worre won't even cancel one speaking engagement to mourn the loss of someone he says is his close friend. The hustle culture that surrounds network marketing instills within you that time is money, and money is obviously what's most important to these people. It teaches you to chase that paycheck first and foremost above anything else, and only take time to yourself when it benefits you and your wallet and your business and your social standing with your peers. Otherwise, you don't get time to grieve. You need to work, you need to bottle up your emotions, and you need to keep moving forward. That is not healthy, and that is not normal. And it is certainly not the way that anyone should expect any human to behave and react to the news of someone they love and care about passing away from something as terrible as stage 4 cancer. Then again, maybe Eric's relationship with Jessie was purely transactional, and that would explain why it was so easy for him to bottle up any grief that he had. I'm not even convinced there was real grief, but that's just my opinion. In one Reddit thread regarding Eric, there's a string of comments that I would like to ponder a little bit because I think it brings up a good point. Gross. He cut out of that hospital before it got really real. Shame on him for implying anyone on their deathbed would bargain for more time to work. And in response to this, one commenter said, he's probably just as scared for his own mortality as she was. He cut and run because he couldn't face reality. I think a lot of this hustle and grind culture is running to escape something. I think this is a really interesting point. Eric Worre's behavior, given this entire ordeal, is indicative of Eric trying to escape anything negative, including allowing himself time to grieve. It's as if it's easier for him to ignore these things and keep his mind occupied by working than it is to just experience a very natural part of being a human, which is grieving. And then he ends up just bottling up every single negative emotion he's ever had, and eventually it's all gonna just explode back in his face and he'll have to deal with all of that pain all at once. And for what? Money? Do these people even know what real happiness is? Because if you're not experiencing the negative parts of life, then you have nothing to compare the highs to. I think people who are constantly hustling like this absolutely are trying to escape their own mortality or any other negative thoughts that they could possibly come up with. They are depriving themselves of the best parts of being a human by refusing to also experience the hard parts. It's altogether very self-destructive. And then he seems to justify continuing to work through the grief that he says he has because that's how he's going to celebrate her life.
What I decided is I'm going to take the time that I have, and I hope it's a long time, and I'm going to invest it into people. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest it into people. I had a group of top leaders that were scheduled to come to my house last night that were from the event on Saturday. And I posted a picture because I invested into them last night. I posted that picture and some people were like, "Whoa, wow. Business as usual, huh? No time to even contemplate the meaning of Jessie Lee's passing. No time to mourn it." I'm celebrating her life by pouring into other people. That's what I'm doing. You can do it whatever way you want to do it. But my decision is to double down. My decision is to give more. My decision is to up my game. One of the things I love best about network marketing is it creates an environment that helps people become better. We measure things by rank advancement and volume and dollars, but the real, nobody talked over the last 2 days about, look how much money she made. They talked about how many lives did she touch. So if you're going to be offended by me pouring myself into other people and finding the next person ready to go out and impact the world and see if I can't help them grow a little faster, do a little better, improve, then you need to not be in my orbit, because that's what I'm going to do. I would encourage all of you to use this example and her example to play big. Don't play small.
Yeah, by making money for himself and growing his social media, that's how he's gonna honor his close friend who passed away? To me, it just sounds like an excuse to keep hustling. Eric Worre is a multi-millionaire though, so to me, he has zero excuse why he couldn't afford to take time off. Like, even just 2 days, like take 2 days to yourself, do some meditating, I don't know, don't you people love meditating? Do something to experience the grief, to experience the loss, and heal a little bit. Like, if he took 2 days off, I think everyone would understand. He can stop hustling for 2 freaking days so he can grieve the loss of his friend and work through the natural process of grieving and allow himself to feel something real for once. But instead, he doubled down and he's just like, I'm gonna work through the grief. And if you don't like it, then you can get out of here. And that message is also him influencing his followers not to grieve either. There's no time to grieve when you gotta hustle, guys. 6-figure earners don't stop to grieve. They keep moving. You're not allowed to grieve. Only weak people grieve. It's one thing to bottle up your own emotions, to inevitably self-destruct later down the line. But dear God, do not try to convince other people to do that shit too. It's just unhealthy.
She was complaining about kidney stone pain. Some of you are confused about, I thought things were good. I thought she had kidney stones. Turns out it wasn't kidney stones that was causing the pain for the last 6 weeks. It was, a pretty awful disease.
I will say, I do appreciate that Eric Worre at least said this part, because Jessie Lee did have a lot of people confused before she passed. She was telling everybody that she was in remission and her lymph nodes were getting back to their regular size and the cancer in her body was shrinking and all these things. And she said that she was in a bunch of pain, but don't worry, it was because of a kidney stone, not because of the cancer. So when she died, there was a narrative going around from her cult members, if you will, basically saying, oh no, she beat cancer. She didn't die from cancer. She beat it. She cured it with juicing and coffee enemas. No. She died from kidney stones and a kidney infection. Please. But I mean, really, you can't blame people for at least being a little confused after she died, because her death was kind of unexpected if you were only listening to what Jessie Lee was telling everybody, which is what most of these people do anyway. It's just like, oh, if Jessie Lee says it, then it's true. But the narrative that Jessie Lee was able to beat cancer through juicing and ozone treatments and coffee enemas is such a dangerous narrative. At the very least, Eric Worre got up here and he was like, nope, it wasn't kidney stones, it was cancer. It was a terrible disease, period. So after his social media frenzy, Eric decided to make a playlist on his personal YouTube channel of 39 videos consisting of hours and hours of Jessie Lee's multiple speaking engagements that she's done for Eric Worre events. There's a couple interesting things here. First of all, when Eric first posted the playlist, he also included the tribute video he made for her in which he spelled Jessie Lee's name wrong. And I mean, I get it. Every Jessie spells their name differently. How is anyone supposed to know which way is the right way? But if you care so deeply for her, like, wouldn't you make sure to spell her name right? Just a thought. The other questionable thing is the potential for monetization. So Eric Worre's YouTube channel has over 400,000 subscribers, and he posts multiple videos per week that usually get about 1,000 views, give or take. I would say that he's probably met the watch time requirement, and he definitely has more than far surpassed the subscriber minimum that you have to meet to be able to become monetized on YouTube. So what he did was upload 39 videos all at once and threw them all into one playlist on a monetized YouTube channel. According to this comment on a Reddit thread discussing this topic, they say Courtney was doing a live. Courtney is somebody that we're going to profile also. That's a woo! I'll tell you, when I was scripting this video to make it all one big video essay, Courtney was gonna be my finale piece because woo! That girl. Anyway, you'll have to hold on to your butts for that one because that one's coming. Courtney was doing a live when one of her commenters asked her about Eric uploading her videos to his YouTube because he had said he was planning on doing this, I guess, in a post or a comment. I don't know. And Courtney was like, what? I'll have to talk to him about that. There's already a channel for her videos, with a stank look on her face, like, rightfully so, too. She basically said that she could give him the login and access to JL's YouTube, and it was very clear that she didn't like the idea of him profiting off of her friend. And obviously he said fuck her feelings because he's Eric Worre, and who is he to turn down a buck? I'm not sure which live this was, and quite frankly, I have no desire to sit through any more of Courtney's content than I have to, which I have sat through a lot of it lately. But if this is all true, wow, that's messed up. I mean, he really had every opportunity to post all of this Jessie Lee Ward content to her own YouTube page, but he chose not to. I mean, he's most likely profiting off of these videos somehow. Maybe not so much. Maybe it's just kind of pocket change because each video only has 1,000 or 2,000 views, basically, if that. The videos on this playlist are all from like Eric Worre's like GoPro events, anything that he's ever hosted. So technically, yeah, he owns all of this footage. He has every right to do this with his footage that he owns, but it just feels a little icky. If anything, he's using this playlist to grow his YouTube channel. I mean, honestly, like, if your only intention is to keep her legacy alive, keep all that going, then why not essentially donate the rights to these specific clips to the cause of keeping her legacy alive by putting everything all in one place on Jessie Lee's YouTube channel? But given everything that we have uncovered about Eric Worre through Jessie Lee's death and her illness, it wouldn't surprise me if the first and only thing on his mind through all of this has been how he can benefit and profit from it. After all, Eric Worre's relationship with Jessie Lee Ward started with her giving him money. It started with money, and he is making sure that it ends with money. And guys, that's all I have for you today. Like I said, this is gonna have to be a series because there's so much to cover. So hopefully, you know, give me a few weeks to get the next part of this video put together. I think the next episode in this series is going to be about how Ed Milet took advantage of Jessie Lee Ward. That is also another long, ridiculous story. So yeah, that's coming up. That's what you have to look forward to. That'll be part 2. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Don't forget to check out the Paired app. Go click the link down in the description to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired Premium. 'Tis the season to grow love. And you can do that with the Paired app. So thank you, Paired, for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys like it as well. I think it's really useful and awesome for couples, so check it out. And then finally, you guys know what we do here. I gotta thank my patrons and my members, guys. The names I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. We have a postcard club. Yeah, you can join us if you want by going to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can join this YouTube channel by clicking the join button down below underneath this video. We'd be happy to have you on no matter what platform you want to join on. And with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Hula Chowdown, Jacqueline Nutton, Kessie Drew, KJ Barnes, Leanne, Sarah Simi, Caroline Reed, Daniel Urena, Maddie Darley, Ray, Turd Ferguson, Martine Hubert, Love to Be Evil, Amber Price, Baby Pink Pearl, Alice Wagner, Carol Campbell, LaSalle Story, Mother Dragon 82, Fallon Lowry, Hannah, The Best Elephant, Jessica Billhart, Emion, and Auntie Lou. And to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and for being you. And even if you're not a financial supporter, thanks for just making it to the end of this video, because YouTube loves watch time, so it helps more people find my channel. So I just appreciate you being here in general. Stay tuned for part 2 and beyond, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.